Hey, what's up you beautiful feckers? How you all doing? So, Quake and Tremble. Now, if you could rename secondary weapons in Warframe, especially the AkMagnus, would you rename each pistol differently or would you rename it the same? I kind of like the idea of having one called Quake and one called Tremble, as nerdy as it sounds. Now, the AkMagnus in Warframe is a set of hard-hitting dual-wield pistols that boast both a solid base crit chance and a solid base status chance, which give you the option to mod them for either crit or status or a hybrid of both, which is what I've modded mine for. But just how good can this set of magnums get with a decent Riven mod? Will it bring them up a few tiers or are they actually worth getting a Riven for? And what stats should you look for on an AkMagnus Riven if you wanted to get your hands on one? These are some of the maximum buffs and negatives or curses that you can get on an AkMagnus Riven, depending on whether your Riven has 3 buffs or 2 depending on whether your Riven has 3 buffs or 2, and the curses as well. I leave the link to the website that you can get these stats from in this video's description, and you can jump over and check out the stats on any Riven for any weapon that you want after you've watched this video, of course. So a while back I decided to stop making my Riven Redemption series of videos because it was a little bit awkward getting a lend of certain Riven mods for weapons and having to forma my weapons and then reforma my weapons to fix those builds once I had returned the Rivens back to their original owners. It kind of made me burn out a lot faster, but I decided feck it. I'm going to continue the Riven Redemption series only, not the Riven Overkill one, and just use my own Rivens or trade or buy these Rivens for the so-called weaker or mid-tier weapons only in Warframe, not the powerful weapons. So hopefully you guys are okay with this. Now, the AkMagnus is one of those kind of cult weapons in Warframe that have a lot of very loyal followers, players who just love using the AkMagnus, but the Riven disposition is pretty damn strong, which means you can get Rivens which are really nice and have really powerful stats, and because of this they have a serious potential to be amazing weapons, but RNG of course can be a cruel mistress in Warframe at the best of times. Now, the biggest downside to the AkMagnus is probably their slow 3-second reload time, and of course maybe that lack of punch through as well. So if you can get a Riven mod with either of those stats, reload speed or punch through, as the third buff, then that's a bonus in itself. Outside of those, I would prefer having crit chance, crit damage, and of course status chance as well. They're the Riven options I would love to have on my AkMagnus. However, the reload speed can be offset by either a Toxic Chroma or a Harrow with his reload buff either, and of course with Chroma you're getting that insane Fury buff to increase your damage output as well, which is going to make the Magnus hit even harder, especially if you're running a min-max Chroma with a really high power strength, which is what I run on my pretty Princess Chroma. So the Riven I have equipped on my AkMagnus has crit chance, status chance and bonus damage to infested. So if I can roll that final stat, that damage to infested, to be reload speed or punch through, then this mod would be absolutely perfect for me and my playstyle. Now in some of this footage you're seeing me running with my Toxic Chroma, which means I've got that Fury buff active, which means my damage output has been increased. But in the Simulacrum footage, of course, I've got Warframe Invincibility turned on, which means I've got no Fury buff, so it's giving you a good idea as to the damage output that the AkMagnus can throw out against level 145 enemies. Now, the damage output with this Riven mod equipped definitely brings the AkMagnus up a level or 2, but does it bring it up on par, I guess, with the likes of the Axtilettos, the Euphona, or even the Pandero? Probably not, but it wouldn't be far off, and it's definitely worth getting a Riven for a weapon like this because they are fun to run with. And if you've got a Warframe that can change that reload speed or make it that little bit faster, or if you've got a Riven that's got reload speed on it or even lack of recoil, then it will be a lot of fun to run with, especially when you're running around out on the plains of Eidolon. You're going to want a little bit more of a weapon diversity and not just run with your favourite weapons all the time, or else you're going to bring burnout on a lot quicker as well. Next up, with regards to Riven Redemption, I might take a look at the Kraken, a weapon that might be or is seen as one of the worst sidearms in Warframe. Now, the Plains of Eidolon update might be this week, hopefully, fingers crossed. A few weeks ago I was asked to fly out to Canada to stream the release event from Digital Extreme's offices, but unfortunately real life issues took priority over a last minute flight to Canada because I didn't know an exact date for the release date, and of course my daughter had just started school, so that was more important to me. But if the update is live this week, then make sure to jump over to my Twitch channel once I'm streaming and get as much free loot, I guess, as you can, just for hanging out or even just for muting the goddamn stream and playing the update yourself. If you're looking to get that sigil, then I'd imagine I will get it pretty soon, considering the day-night cycle for Eidolon is pretty low. But let me know in the comment section below any other weapons that you would like me to take a look at in terms of Riven Redemption, whether it's sidearm, primary or melee weapon as well. Remember, I'm not going to look at the so-called powerhouses in Warframe, just the mid-tier and the weak weapons. Do me a huge favour and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, or don't if you didn't. Subscribe for more Warframe, and as always, thanks very much for watching.